This podcast is being brought to you by Allarec.com. If you're involved in a car wreck, it is your one-stop shop to get a free wreck report, law consult, and medical consult. Maximize your recovery today at Allarec.com or by giving them a call at 205-903-9592. You're listening to the 10 out of 10 podcast, where we take you on our journey exploring cities that are sports hotbeds, primarily in SEC country or throughout the South. Each week, you will learn the best places to eat, hottest venues to visit, and a few hidden gems along the way. So when you visit, your trip will also be a 10 out of 10. Happy Victory Monday, and welcome to this week's 10 out of 10 podcast. This week, we're going to explore Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, so Jen and I went to God's country this weekend to Athens, Georgia. It was Jenna's first trip there. It was a great experience.
I loved it.
Yeah, you had a good time?
I did.
Good. Really good atmosphere. Georgia won. Really big.
I was really impressed with the fans. Y'all were loud.
Yeah.
It's
a good stadium. You know, at our last experience at Auburn Stadium is like straight up and down. You know, It's really vertical, whereas Georgia Stadium is a little bit more wide and bowl shaped and open. And it's just a great atmosphere. Everything. I had a great time.
Tom's really happy about the win.
Yeah.
He was nervous.
I was nervous going in, and they scored first. It wasn't like we just, opened it up in the beginning. There was really a second half kind of thing where we just exploded in the second half. It was great to see Brock Bowers back out there, so quick after that surgery because he's an absolute machine.
Or we have good doctors in Birmingham.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, people come here to have their orthopedic surgeries done from all over the world, all over the country. I mean, it's...
Guess who else was at the game?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, Stetson Bennett. Yeah.
Made his appearance.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy to see him.
It was great. Everybody was on the sideline. Nolan Smith, Keely Ringo, all the stars that are in the NFL.
Mark Richt.
Mecole Hardman. Yeah, Mark Richt was there. He's kind of a sad story. He's been diagnosed with Parkinson's. So they honored him at halftime. He's a great Christian man, good coach, brought us back to the land of the living in the early 2000s. But it's just, it's really sad to see what's happened to him. But he's doing all right from what I understand, but it was sad to see out there.
I survived the infamous hill you talked about. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that's because we just went down it. We parked on the west side and we went down Lumpkin Hill, down Lumpkin Street to kind of show her where. So when I was there, all the fraternity houses were on Lumpkin, right there. So you had KA and everything like all those houses were right there on Lumpkin, and have since all been torn down and turned into.
So sad.
Yeah, they got kicked off campus. Long after I had been gone, but kicked off campus. So and turned into parking lots.
So each fraternity has a parking lot?
Pretty much, yeah. The only house that's still on, it's not really on campus. We didn't have enough time to get by, but the SAE house kind of touches the end of downtown behind the Georgia Theater and all that where we were. But it's right off campus. The rest of them have moved. But going down the hill is not real bad. It's the fun part. If it wasn't a night game and we weren't trying to do something and be somewhere, I would have. You got to watch the drunk people after the game try to walk back up the hill.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we didn't do that. We went out the other side and went kind of.
So please tell us your golf cart story about the hill.
Oh yeah, well, so I guess this is kind of funny. This was back in 2005, before back then E-Z-GO kind of had the market cornered on golf carts, and I grew up on a golf course, and I worked at the golf course, and I had an E-Z-GO master key on my keychain. I think I was 19 or 20 at the time, and me and one of my buddies, this was a Friday night before the Georgia-Tennessee game in Athens, and we were walking along. We were walking back from downtown back to the house, and my brother called. My brother was so drunk, and he was like, "Please figure out a way to come get me from downtown." Well, at this gas station, they're setting up for all these tailgates, and we were walking by this gas station, and there's a medical golf cart right there, like, painted like on the side, two seats on the back, two in the front, and they had like it was white with the cross on it and everything, and it was just parked overnight, getting prepared for the tailgate the next day. And I was like, well, I wonder if my master key would work in this. So we went and sat down. My buddy got the driver's seat, and I got the passenger seat, and I put my key in, and it worked. And we're like, oh yeah. And he just takes off in this golf cart, and we're driving. We drive back downtown. We drive up the big hill on Lumpkin, all the way up it, and we pick up my brother and his friend. So there's four of us on this golf cart, and we get seen by the cops. And this is like, I mean, bike cops everywhere back then. There were bike cops all over downtown just patrolling. So we pick him up. We pick up my brother's friend, and we take off back down the hill. And this was before governors were on the golf cart. So we're flying down this hill. We got like 5 bike cops following us with their lights on, trying to get us to pull over. My brother and his friend are sitting on the back staring at the cops. And me and my buddy are driving. And we're like, all right, like, what do we do? What do we do? We just we didn't want to go to jail. So we turn right on Baxter and go up the street, go up the other hill. We turn down some side streets. And in between the streets where we're going is like a bamboo patch. Like bamboo grows all up around these houses, in between these houses and stuff. So my buddy's like, watch this. And we run through this bamboo patch. And as we're doing it, as we're going through it, the bamboo is popping back up. Like we run over it, it pops back up, and it would hit the cops and knock them off their bikes and stuff.
Oh my God.
And we go to this place called the Big White House, where there's this huge party going on, and we pull up in there, and we just slam on brakes, and me and him get out of the cart, and we take off running. And we run into the party, like run through it. My brother and his friend just stay on the back of the cart and just sit there, and they're like, the cops pull up, and they're like, we have no idea who those guys were. None whatsoever. They didn't rat us out. They were like, we just caught a ride with them. We have no idea who they were.
Oh my God.
And so we wake up and the next day, and we had made the red and black. The newspaper in Athens, it was like,
Stop.
information wanted, reward wanted for the two guys that stole this golf cart. And to this day, we have never been caught. We have never.
I hope they don't find out now.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're probably over it by now. But to this day, we never got caught.
You need to frame it. You have a picture of
no, I don't.
newspaper?
I don't have a picture. I wish we had kept it. It would have been a great keepsake, but we did not do that. But that was just Athens back in the day. It was just really wild back then.
Always had some good times, huh?
Yep.
Let's get ready to travel after a few words from this week's sponsor.
Crikey, the only time it's good to hear the scrape of metal is when a garbage can tips over.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Al, and yes, you can tell from my accent I'm an Australian raccoon.
What are you doing in Alabama? Why am I talking to a raccoon?
I now represent Alarec. We're the go-to platform for simplifying car accident claims. Visit us for free wreck reports as well as legal consultations and medical consultations. Remember, mate, your road to recovery begins with alarec.com.
Okay, so let's talk about where to eat, what to do, and what to see.
All right. Well, Athens has no shortage of all of that. As you can see, the downtown is massive. I think there's over 100 bars and restaurants down there. We didn't see but like a few of them. With the weather supposed to be what it was, we ended up not going because it did rain during the day, but it stopped. It rained the whole drive over. But it stopped, so we got there, game was at 7. We got there about 4. We were able to go, one of the things that we got to do, that everybody has to do, the famous arches at Georgia, we were able to go take a picture underneath it, and all of that. It was great. People, that was the first time I've ever seen anybody just standing there, groups of people standing there with signs for you to hold. I don't normally just take a picture.
Yeah, they had like people taking your picture.
Yeah.
So what are the arches? Explain to us.
I mean,
what
it's
that
just
means.
a sign of higher learning. The arches are the sign of higher learning, and they have been there since the school opened in the beginning. And that they kind of lead. So like going through those arches, it's kind of like a rite of passage when you walk through. You're on campus, officially on campus, and that's where all the buildings are to where the classes are. So like,
because I was kind of confused. It was just like buildings here, buildings there. You're kind of downtown, but you're kind of I mean, it wasn't like a clear cut. Here's campus. Here's not campus. I guess except for that. I guess the class buildings.
Right. So it's like really attached, very like close to it, and everybody crosses there to kind of go onto campus. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a really, really cool little part of downtown. And then like back when I was there, that's the street that we waited. That you have to wait so long. That's Broad Street. When you wait so long to cross it, the other, I'm drawing a blank right now, but the other street where everything was blocked off and now it's just like a walking square, was not that way. There used to be traffic. You could just drive down that street, and it was rather dangerous right there, to be honest. But I'm kind of glad they did it. They blocked it all off, because you saw how crazy downtown was. And it gets that way. So when there is impending weather, all the tailgates go to all of the bars. So that's why when we walked, I knew when we walked up there, I was like, all right, well, I guess you get to go meet the fam this time.
Tom saw all his old friends from college. Like 30 people probably.
Yeah. I mean, walked into Nowhere Bar, and Nowhere Bar is a great name for a bar, in my opinion, because that's like what everybody's like, what are you doing tonight? Where are you going? Nowhere. And that's just what you say. And everybody in Athens knows what that means. We're going to Nowhere Bar. It's got pool tables. It's a dive bar.
I liked it. I mean, it was kind of redneck more than I thought it would be, because I don't know. Tom's super bougie, so I didn't know that we were walking to this like redneck kind of place more than any Alabama bar, but
no more than any other Alabama bar.
I don't know any like that in Tuscaloosa, but
it's just a dive bar. It's right across the street from Georgia Theater, and Georgia Theater is a staple in downtown Athens. Like all the music that has gone through there over the years. You've got REM, Widespread Panic, Future Birds, and bands still come back. Like Jason Isbell plays there, Drive By Truckers,
him.
Everybody still comes back. It's such an old venue. It actually burned down years back, and they just spent a lot of money to renovate it. And they added a rooftop bar. We couldn't get up to the rooftop bar because there was a private event up there, but I was going to show you that and show you the venue. It's one of my favorites of all time. And it just really, everything on that side of town, we parked on the side of town with the Classic Center. So the Classic Center is also another great venue, old venue where it's music, it's plays, it's all kind of, it'd be like an Alabama theater here kind of thing. But, and then, one of the coolest things that ever happened, Widespread Panic is a very, very big group, big band, very well known, and they are originally from Athens. And in 1998, they had an album release and it was an album release party that they had no idea would have the turnout it did. It was called Panic in the Streets, and they closed downtown Athens, and the stage was in the middle of downtown, and over 100,000 people showed up, flooded the streets and this is in 1998. So like, this was before like instant, hey, you got to come see this. You got to come see, like, this was, before cell phones, text messaging, and all of that stuff to let everybody know. They had, instant information at your fingertips. This was, so like having over 100,000 people show up for a band in the streets of downtown Athens. There are some great pictures of it. You can Google Panic in the Streets and look at the overhead pictures that were taken. It's really, really cool. REM, of course. Everybody loves REM, right? It's a great old 90s band, too.
Yeah.
Rock band. So it's just got a really rich music history. It's really probably the greatest college town that ever existed. I mean, it is. There's just no question.
I did say, if I wasn't an Alabama fan, I think I would probably be a Georgia or Ole Miss fan.
You did say
that. They both are very, good fan bases. I don't know.
Nice people. Great people. Yeah. So.
But I don't know if I would go so far as saying the greatest ever. I don't know. I mean, to each their
well,
own,
to me, certainly. And then I got to learn about the fight song that they even had Pat McAfee singing it on game day. You know, who's that coming down the track? It's a call out song. Call back. Who's that coming down the track? All dressed up in red and black. It's a meme machine in red and black. You know, there's different variations of the song.
I thought the train was cool though, like the old timey train track and that over there.
Before the stadium was really built
see.
up in the 70s, like when my dad was there, like you could watch from standing on the train tracks.
Whoa.
Yeah. People watch games on the train tracks. There's the bridge that goes across the south end, north end. God, wow. Yeah, and it's like you could watch from there. But now the stadium is really, you know, because the fans, you know, so many fans. Georgia's so great. They had to build the stadium up. Obviously, you can't watch from outside.
Didn't you say they did this like tradition where they would walk down the tracks, like the football team?
It's a meme machine. Who's that coming down the tracks?
Like they would do that every Saturday.
I think that was way back in the day.
That's pretty cool.
You know, and the song, as the song goes, "Ain't nothing finer in the land." And you asked me. It's not, because it's not really. Ain't nothing finer in the land. It got changed over the years to a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. But it's really ain't nothing finer in the land than the Georgia Redcoat Marching Band.
Oh.
So
McAfee had the different.
Yeah, he was singing.
Different version.
That's right. The drunk, obnoxious one.
We didn't go anywhere to eat. We ate in Atlanta on the way. But what are your favorite places to eat in Athens?
Yeah, so my number one favorite place to eat, probably like one of all time, is, and this was going to be our 10 out of 10. So we could, we can wait till the end, or we can talk about the other places. Porterhouse Grill is where I love to go there before games, after games. It's my dad's favorite place. We always go there before the game and get like a Philly or something.
Is it like steak or?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. It's really everything. But we'll talk about the one that I really love when we get to the 10 out of 10.
We'll save that one.
Okay.
What else? Anything else?
I mean,
any other unique places?
No, like there is. You've got Boar's Head. Boar's Head's a great place, but like probably the most famous is we walked right by it, and I think I forgot to point it out to you, but there is a hot dog vendor. And I can't remember his name or the name of the vendor to save my life right now, but it like right there on the corner. And he's been there for forever and ever, has the best hot dogs and late night food. He's there till 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, every weekend. And then all the bars, so you actually met Benji, the owner of Southern Kitchen Cantina.
Yes, one of my favorite places.
Yeah. So you met Benji, who's opening Little Betty in Mountain Brook. And when we were there, he worked at a bar called General Beauregard's. And the ownership of how they started the Ivy in Atlanta were part owners of like a bunch of other bars in Athens. So General's being one of them. All Good, City Bar. There's just so many. I mean, it's impossible to name all of the bars there. You know, there's so many of them. Yeah, but the one we talked about nowhere, but the one that I miss the most is no longer there. Is Georgia Bar. And that's also, if you're looking at Georgia Theaters on that street and across the street to the left, was a great hangout spot. I think they renamed it Spazz's or something for a while. When I looked down there, I didn't see anything. I don't know what it is now, to be honest. It's been a little while since I've hit the bar scene in Athens. That was going to Nowhere Bar was special. I haven't done that in a long, long time. So
that was cool that like all the people were back. Like I guess y'all all come
same
back.
Exact people hung out with there.
Most people live in Atlanta and just it's easy and
exactly.
We did go to a store that you talked about the other day.
Yeah, Alma Reserve. There's one here in Mountain Brook Village, but it started in Athens. They have great men's clothing.
Nice.
It's very nice, very upscale men's store. It's my favorite place. Actually, everything that I'm wearing right now is on my reserve. I know you guys can't see it, but I always look phenomenal from when I shop at Alma Reserve. So yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So earlier we talked about, I kind of didn't want to spoil it, but now we're at the segment of 10, what our 10 out of 10 is. So I'm going to give you the best restaurant in Athens, in my opinion, and my 10 out of 10 is Last Resort Grill. It is one of the best restaurants around. I love it so much. I wish you got to experience that, but there's absolutely no way we would have ever gotten in there. It's always a long line, especially in a night game. Everybody probably went there to eat beforehand, but it's the firecracker fillet is phenomenal, and it's got a cake shop in there. So Cecilia's Cake Shop, I think it's been there since the early 90s. So the dessert, everything is phenomenal. It's where your parents go, it's where all the kids and their parents go. It's where everybody goes when they come back. It's just a great, great restaurant. That is my 10 out of 10 of places you have to go when you're in Athens.
Next time, I guess.
Yeah.
So we also have some extra points this week, our sports updates. We're the last East and West champions of the SEC.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It feels great. I just want to thank God first and foremost. And then Kirby. We're East champions again. Last year we ended up playing LSU and having to beat the hell out of them first, and now back to old Papa Saban's back, huh? So, well, I can't wait.
So what's your predictions?
I don't want to talk about that. I'm just kidding. I mean, look, Alabama's playing great football. If Jalen Milroe plays the way he's been playing and is as accurate as he can be and uses his legs like he does, I think he will give us problems. I have no doubt that he will. I think this could be one of the best. I mean, it would be hard to top the 2017 game, Georgia-Alabama, but I think this could be one of the best meetings as far as games go.
Me too.
For Alabama versus Georgia, and
I think we got it though, just barely.
Yeah. So what's the score prediction here? What do you think?
I'm gonna say 31-28.
That's a good guess. I don't think that Georgia's defense. Something always happens when we play Alabama. Like this year, we're averaging giving up like 14.8 points a game. And that's. But something happens when we play Alabama. Yeah. Don't even go there with me. I don't want to hear it.
100.
Hey, we're still number one. We're undefeated. I don't think we haven't lost a regular season game since 2020. I think y'all lost one this year. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy how that works. But look, we could talk about that next week. We got a lot of preparation to do before December 2nd. So
y'all gotta beat Tennessee.
Yeah, and look. There's something about playing in Tennessee. I'm going to knock on wood so that everybody can hear me, because we always Tennessee's turf, there's something wrong with it. Everybody knows it. Everybody, that's why in The Blind Side, when she talks about the gaudy orange. Yeah, like the ghosts that come up and grab people's ACLs and just tear them up. That's where Todd Gurley tore his ACL. We've always lost big players. I really don't even want Brock to play in that game, but apparently he is not to be stopped, and got really upset at all the agents that called him and told him not to play again this year. Did you hear that? Did y'all see that interview this week? Yeah. Kirby got on the mic and was like, yeah, he was angry. He was like, all these people are telling me that I'm risking millions or I'm losing millions by getting out there and playing again. And Kirby's like, I think he's making more millions to show y'all how awesome he really is, and how much of a warrior he is, because he wants to play.
Kirby would say that. I'm thinking I'm sorry. I've not jumped on the mic. I've not jumped on the mic for about 5 or 6 episodes, and I'm going to share my thoughts. I'm not chastising Kirby, right? Because a college football head coach, his job is to be the CEO, and the CEO's job is to protect the company at all costs, right? So if Brock Bowers is my best employee, I'm just going to let that hang in there, right? And then I have people telling him to not come out and do his job, because if he does his job, he's risking making more money. Well, of course, I'm going to MF and say, yeah, you're right. Anyways.
Come on.
Well, hey, Eric, I appreciate your 2 cents, but I want everybody to know that's listening that Eric is an Alabama fan and quite a bitter one at this point.
Graduate. I'm an Alabama graduate. Yes, therefore a fan. But I've never been called a bitter one. Explain.
I mean,
explain to
he
me.
Seems really bitter.
I'm seeing the bitter.
Yeah, and we can make this public if you want. Well, let's just say we're gonna make a friendly wager on the game before, just bragging rights, anything like that. Well, whatever it takes, Eric.
Also, this week, big in the news, Jimbo and Zach Arnett fired.
Oh, Jimbo!
I predicted that.
Yeah, Hey, you pay me $76 million to not coach. I would have tried to lose too. Yeah, he's stress-free.
He's kind of been terrible.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean,
he's garbage. He is garbage. Look, $76 million buyout. Somebody, did you see how it happened? Did y'all see how this happened, by the way? The boosters at A&M, halftime of their last game, presented the university with a $160 million check at halftime of the last game. So when they got that check, $76 million of it, they're like, sweet, we can get rid of this guy now. We got that 160. We just pay him out and get him out of there. Great job, Jimbo. I applaud it. I was like, man, this guy just made a killing to do nothing, to go away.
The best job in America is fired SEC head coach.
Couldn't agree with you more. Just fake it and never make it. Fake it and never make it, and then you just get to relax with $76 million.
Do you think he'll go somewhere else?
I sure hope not. I mean, if he does, it'll be a smaller school. I mean, he could go coach in the ACC. Maybe not even the ACC. I don't know.
Why would you go anywhere though if you had $76 million?
I don't know. I'd quit. Certainly. But as far as Zach Arnett goes, let's talk. I mean, he was filling in for Mike Leach, who, unexpectedly passed away last year. And I think, if nothing, I think he did a great job. Honestly, he wasn't ready. It was an unexpected passing of the head coach. He stepped in and did what he had to do to keep that team on the field, and I respect him for it. And he's a young guy. I think he's probably got a bright future, and will jump on as a coordinator somewhere, or do something like that. There have been rumors this week that Shane Beamer, the South Carolina coach, might be interested in that job. But yeah, I think Zach will land on his feet. I don't think that was it's just something he wasn't ready for and unexpected. So I like him as.
Do you think Lane Kiffin will go to A&M?
Oh, the whole Lane train. I love that Eric kept his mic on, and his laugh is great. There is a rumor that he is. I'm sure. I don't know. I would hope that Lane wouldn't do that to himself. I mean, A&M's got a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. I mean, they have big boosters over there that don't play around, as you can see. So Lane's got a real cush right now. I don't know.
We'll see. And the other thing I saw this week was Alabama A&M's band is leading the Macy's Day Parade. Did you see that?
I did not see that. No,
pretty exciting for Alabama A&M.
Yeah, I don't even. Where is Alabama A&M?
It's in Huntsville.
Okay, cool. Hey, man,
it's
great.
the HBCU.
Good for them. Let's shout out, hey, Alabama A&M going to the big city up in New York. Some of them
leading it though, that's a big deal. They're the first band out there.
Yeah, first band.
Yeah, leading the whole parade.
Just first band out of the gate, man.
Mm-hmm.
How much you want to bet that band gets lost? I bet that parade gets lost in the wrong. I'm just kidding, A&M. I'm sure y'all are going to do a great job. They're going to lead them down the wrong route.
Making us proud.
Yeah. Hey, good. Congratulations.
This podcast was brought to you by Allarec.com. You can find them on the web at Allarec.com or give them a call at 205-903-9592. Thank you for listening to the 10 out of 10 podcast. Follow our travels every Victory Monday on YouTube and Apple Podcast, and extra content on Instagram at Genesee Harkness. Until next time, make each day a 10 out of 10.